It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and fill your mind.
Hey guys, how is it going? And welcome to the Morning Star Drive on 117.8. It is Monday, May 12th. And so happy for you joining us. We are ready to start another week together with the Lord. So subscribe to us on YouTube. Do not follow us on SoundCloud and make sure to support us on Patreon. So today we have an exciting podcast for you. We have Provi in the media, the Sunday Message Word Study, and of course commentaries, updates, and news on what is happening around the world in this history today. All right, everyone, how are you doing? And yes, it is a wonderful and amazing and awesome Monday, a brand new week. We're already into the second week of May. Hope you guys understand. We are going full throttle into May. Well, we're in the second week, and by Wednesday, is it by Wednesday, 34? No, by Thursday, we'll hit the halfway mark of May. Crazy, guys, right? That is quite crazy, but don't forget, we have Q&A Thursday every single week, so get those questions ready. Send them to me whenever you can. And if you haven't yet, please leave a like and comment to build our community. Just super happy for everyone joining us every weekday on the Morning Star Drive. So let's get up and support each other each and every day. This week's Sunday message title is, I am with you, so keep your faith strong. All right. So I am just thankful for another week, second week of May. We're just full on into this month. We are into the Flower Festival, officially started on Saturday. We had the evangelism event on Saturday. The blessing's been going on over here in Korea. It's been pretty crazy. Oh, crazy. Just, I don't know why I said crazy, but for me, it's because there's so many people I know that are in it. And I'm just very, very excited and happy for them. Teachers' Day is around the corner. Teachers' Day is this Friday, I think. It's the 15th. Oh, Thursday. It is. Teachers' Day is this Thursday, right? So there's another thing going on. Plus, what else is there on Friday? Yeah, we're starting to get some more visitors coming in, but most of them are coming from the Asian countries because Western countries, a lot further away, a lot more money, hard to get more days off. But on top of it, we had like so many Westerners coming for 316. So we don't think we're not going to see anyone for like no other large groups, probably not until like the end of summer or maybe close to the retreat. But yeah, we have Teachers' Day on Thursday. We're in the middle of the Flower Festival. And then a week today, what did we start? We started a new prayer condition, 21 days, right? That leads straight to Alpha Day, which is 1 week after the Flower Festival ends. So tons of things going on. I'll probably go over this more deeply on the Wednesday podcast because we have world news, but a very first, and this is something that's very symbolic too, first American Pope ever. First American Pope from Chicago, went to Villanova University. We have some members that went there too, and it's very interesting. Just look at the world news. What does this mean? And I'm wondering what God is doing with this pick of the Pope, which is was huge news. The first ever American Pope, right? So I'm looking at this. We're probably gonna get a little more deeper into it to find out who this new Pope is. It was interesting. They had a lot of. There's a very diverse group of people that were getting chosen. Most people thought it was going to be the Italian Pope, but it became an American Pope. There was like a Filipino Pope and like an African Pope. There's a lot of different people, not popes, but people that were considered to become the new Pope. But wow, I couldn't believe it. American Pope. It's so rare. It's the first time ever. For me, guys, just want to let you guys know I'm at home right now. It is Sunday afternoon. I will be coaching volleyball in a little bit, so that's something that I'm going to be doing. But very, very grateful, very thankful that we're able to just very thankful and grateful that I'm able to record a little bit earlier today because it's later on in about an hour and a half, I'll be coaching volleyball for 2 hours. So that's something that I will be working on also. But yeah. Okay, guys. So the weekend was crazy. So remember, I told you on Saturday it was the Flower Festival opening ceremony. Plus, there was the blessing in Wilmington during the same time. Plus, there is like the evangelism event, like the pig event, and there's like almost 300 newcomers. It was crazy. I'll tell you why is this year, and because you guys aren't here in Korea, I just got to let you guys know. Remember what happened 316? All the testimonies about the wind and the snow and this. It was so cold, whatever it is, right? It's been like this every major event, even the evangelism events we've had. This is the third. No, this is the fourth one. No, third one we've done so far. And even though this is the third one, every evangelism event has had like bad weather. 316, bad weather. Flower Festival, bad. Like everything is terrible weather, right? Saturday, pouring rain. On top of it, like really bad winds, right? It was just constant the entire day, without fail, always wind and rain. And I was out there from like I got there around 10 a.m. And we started like I was originally going to do the meat, which would have been better because you'd be by the you're cooking meat and by the hot coals and stuff. But I ended up working with the ramen station. So they have these cool, amazing technology where they make you it's not cup ramen. It's real ramen from the package, and it just cooks it for you in 4 minutes. It's crazy. Okay? But think about this. We did 500 ramens. And I just got to let you guys know this too is rainy and cold weather is the perfect combination for people wanting to eat ramen. It was that crazy. Without fail, we were out there 11 a.m. to around 3:30, 4 p.m. and it was crazy, freezing and cold and raining. We're getting hit by rain, but we're making all this 500 packages of ramen, and we originally had 8 machines. 4 of them broke down. 2 of them worked again, so we ended up with 6 machines and 3 of us working on it. It was crazy. It was really, really crazy, but it was fun because these machines were working for like 5 hours straight, never stopping. It was crazy. And I looked at it, I was like, whoa, this is kind of crazy kind of thing. And the time went by fast. But when I got home, I thought I was getting sick. I thought I was getting sick. I wasn't, I'm like, oh my gosh. I can kind of, when you feel it in your, when you kind of feel it in you can feel it in your throat, and you feel it like your head's getting a little bit stuffy. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting sick. I got to go home and sleep. So I went home early, cleaned up, washed up, went straight to bed and stuff like that too. So, it was crazy just being out the entire time. But it's like I was saying, guys, there's something with the weather this year. And, we talk to people and everyone has different ideas of why it's like that. Isn't it true? Isn't it kind of weird how the weather's been like this every event? And, God always, we always learn in Providence. And this is something that I thought was kind of cool too when I was talking to my friend about my parents too is, in Providence, we learn about the weather. We learn that you can see if God is with us through the weather. Like we understand this, right? The interesting thing is, like people in the world don't understand, like it's not something that they're sensitive to. Like even when my parents came and the weather was like up and down and then the sun would come out, we could go see the camel rock and this and this, right? Like my parents just like, oh, the weather was just like kind of strange. But for us in Providence, we're like, oh man, God is with us kind of thing, right? But it's hard because we're like, man, every event there's rain, every event there's snow or there's wind or something making it super tough. And it's like, man, isn't it going to be tougher for newcomers to come? Like, we're really, really thinking about this. And it's so interesting that we look at it as like, wow, like, what is God trying to say? All these major events, and, I'm looking forward to Alpha Day, but I'm wondering how gnarly the weather's going to be on Alpha Day. Like that's something I'm really, really interested in is what is actually going to happen on Alpha Day, right? Are we going to, is it like, because I'm not going to say it's going to rain because it's already going to be in June, but it's going to be like blazing sun where everyone is dying in the heat. Like this is what I'm thinking. It's like, man, is there ever going to be good weather this year? And so far, every major event, everything that's really, really important, nothing like the weather hasn't been so great. And, one person was saying, oh, it makes us more thankful or it's training or, there's a bunch of different things. So yeah, it's quite an interesting thing just to see that things are happening in this way. By the way, Eddie Kwan, He does a Tuesday podcast. Eddie Kwan is here in Korea, and he's here for a month. So we're gonna have some time together, record, spend some time and stuff like that too. And I'll tell you guys, the number one thing that I'm super happy and excited about is that there is someone who is Western here and a guy, and we're like 15, 16, no, more than that. We're like 18 years apart. Okay, we're 18 years apart, but we're guys, right? And for me, I am so thankful that at this time I can have Eddie here, someone who's Western thinking, someone who's a Western guy, speaks perfect English, and well, and uh, he's a second gen, which is he's two types of second gen. So there's a second gen in Providence, and there's a second gen of parents who immigrated to the U.S. or Canada, and then they had their children born in U.S. and Canada. So they're way more Western, but they're still Korean. So we're very, very much alike in a lot of different ways. But I'll tell you why I'm super happy, because I am very free around him. I can just say the things I need to say. I don't have to worry about people misunderstanding me. Like yesterday, I had a conversation with someone, and there was a misunderstanding, but I'm going to tell you this, guys. It's been constant in Korea for me, talking to people in Korea, because it's just a different culture, different way of thinking. So there was someone who had their birthday, and I took them to dinner for their birthday. Right? There's a bunch of us that went together, and what was it? When we're talking, they're being thankful. Remember, there's a bunch of us together, and they're very thankful that I bought them dinner and stuff like that. And then I showed them one of those Instagram statistic things that says people who spend money on their friends grow stronger bonds and better relationship, right? And I was like, oh, look at this, and then obviously it's kind of like a joke kind of thing, right? Like, hey, look at this. Hey, we have stronger bonds. But then this person's like, oh, that's kind of a burden. This is such a burden. I was like, a burden? I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, it's kind of like a joke. Like in my head, I'm like, this is kind of like a joke. I'm just sending you a stat, and then now I'm using it as a joke, like we have stronger bonds. But they're like, oh, because you're a guy, and I'm like, well, there's a bunch of us together and stuff like that. But it was more of a joke. But they're like, yeah, I feel really burdened and stuff. I was like, oh, okay. And if it was someone in like those guys can help me out there who's from the Western countries, you guys, we would just laugh about it, like, oh, look, we got stronger bonds, right? I should spend more money on you. And we would be laughing about it and stuff. Well, for the people that I know that I interact with, like in the Western countries, like even Rachel, right? Rachel and Eddie do the podcast. Opposite sex, everything else. And I'd be like, hey, I just bought you dinner. We have a stronger bond. And then Rachel would be laughing. And we're like, yeah, whatever, you old man, whatever it is. She'll just say her joking thing, right? But it's a very Western thing. But the interesting thing was this person didn't know how to take it. And they're like, oh, it's such a burden. Like, what's my expectations now? 'Cause since we have a stronger bond. I'm like, well, I didn't really mean it that way. But you see, for me being in Korea, it's I have to deal with an extra layer of culture, like difference in culture and difference in thoughts, right? So it is taxing, where I'm kind of like, I just want to be by myself. I don't want to talk to any of these Korean people kind of thing, right? But it's just, and this is not like I said, guys, before, this is totally not about right and wrong. Like, oh, they're so wrong for thinking. It's just more of, it's just natural. Culture and thoughts are different because you're raised in different countries, different cultures, different everything else, right? So for me, I'm just like, oh, sometimes it's just taxing. Then I'm just like, I don't want to deal with this. And it sometimes, you know that when you're tired, you make less good decisions, right? Because you'll get hangry, you get tired, and you just don't want to deal with certain things. And I'm kind of like, I just want to get the heck out of here. I want to get out of Korea kind of thing, because I'm already tired from these types of conversations, right? But it was just very, very interesting. But being with Eddie is a lot different, because I can actually go even more extreme in my jokes and more extreme in the things I say, and he's not going to misunderstand me. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. And I would say, me, him, Pastor Baker came out too. Bunch of us were talking together. and I would just say some of the craziest things. I just gotta get it out because I'm so trapped in this Korean world over here. But I'm over it now. But it's just funny. But for me to I didn't realize and recognize until actually Eddie brought it up. Eddie was like going, "Yeah, bro, you must be really pent up from all this." And in my head, I was like, "That's so true." Right? So yeah, that's kind of what I was. I'm just very, very grateful and thankful that Eddie's here. Someone who's English speaking, Western culture, second generation Korean, right? Born in Korea and stuff like that too. So to have him here for a month is great for me and great for my absolute sanity, right? There's this interesting thing I saw on a YouTube short. Very, very interesting. And I want you guys to think about this yourself. Okay, so. There is okay, so here's the dilemma, or here's the problem we need to solve. If there was one lemon and two people wanted it, how would you split it evenly? Right? And they said, so I want you to think about that right now. In your head, there's one lemon for two people want that lemon. How would you split it evenly or fairly? Right? And what are your thoughts? Kind of think about it in your head right now. How could you split it evenly, right? And they said the two main answers, right? So there's the regular answer and the little bit higher level answer. So the main answer is just cut it in half and give half to one side, half to the other side. Now the second most popular, well, not second most, but they said the higher level answer is the same, cut in half. However, one person cuts and the other person gets to choose which side first, right? So it'll be even more, then the person cutting will be even more exact on how to cut it in half, right? So that one person doesn't get too much more than the other, right? So, so think about this. Most people is like, yeah, that makes sense, right? It could be like the Solomon dilemma. There's a baby, cut the baby in half and give one to one side and the other. And like you're just kind of thinking like, oh, okay, so that's like the best way to do it evenly. But, and interesting, this guy's a divorce lawyer and he says, no. However, there is a way that people can get 100% of what they both want. And you're like, what? How does that make any sense? How can you have one lemon that both people want and be able to split it evenly so both people get exactly what they want? Doesn't make sense, right? So he says, think about this. Imagine one side wants to make lemonade. So you cut it in half, he takes the lemon, squeezes out the juice, and then throws away the peel, right? The second person, what do they want? They don't want lemonade. They want lemon zest. And lemon zest only requires the most outer layer, the yellow layer of the peel. So he'll take his half and only take off the peel, the rind, right? And then throw away the inside, which has the juice. So this person uses the half because they want lemonade, and the other person just wants lemon zest and throws away the inside. However, both could have gotten what they wanted, right? Because you could just get one person who wants lemon zest, take all the rind off the entire lemon, and then give the other person the entire inside so they can make more juice than just getting half. And the biggest thing that this divorce lawyer said was, he says, no one asked the question of what they really wanted. Now, isn't that interesting? Like for me, I never thought, even for me, I was thinking just cut it in half. Why have to make it so complicated? Why have to make it so difficult? But sometimes the most simplest answer is not the easiest one, right? Sometimes we need to be a little bit, I wouldn't say complicated, but it's good to just ask. Ask the question, right? Ask the real question is, what do you want it for? Oh, I just need the peel. Cool, take the peel. I just want the inside. You know what I mean? And it's interesting. While we think about this question, the most interesting thing that I thought is when someone says evenly or someone says fair, we automatically assume oh, this is even. Even is exactly 50% goes to you and exactly 50% goes to me. Or fair. fair is, what's fair is, everyone deserves 50%. But we never really asked the questions. So what we didn't ask becomes our handicap, and it makes both people not get what they fully want, where people may not be getting exactly what they truly need, right? And it made me also think about like talking to people. Whenever there's like discussion or people are angry or people are like, hey, well, we don't agree with this and we don't agree with this and we don't agree with this. And I learned this actually just recently over the last couple of weeks from the Korean director here. And the thing, like, I would be kind of frustrated by certain groups, and I'm just like, oh, why are they like so angry? Why are they so kind of like, oh, like why are they asking these ridiculous questions kind of thing? And he's like, no. Sit down with them, hear them out, find out exactly what they want. It doesn't mean you're going to give them what they want, but you got to know exactly what they want. It could be much different than what you're thinking. What if what they want is different than what you think? What if what they want is something that has nothing to do with the actual issue, but they're like, oh, they just want more transparency. Got it. Oh, they just want this one thing here to be taken care of. Oh, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes because we're assuming what people want, or we're just upset that why are they throwing a kink into everything, but we don't realize actually what they really truly want. And that's what's causing the issues and problems too. So I was looking at this like, oh, that's such an interesting way of looking at things. And I was like, yeah, I think it's something that we do have to understand much better, that sometimes it's not about what is even and what is fair from our perspective, but what's more important is finding out what someone really wants. Because sometimes when you have like say fighting between two people, the fighting between two people may not actually be people fighting over the exact same thing. It may be that people are fighting over something they don't need to fight over. You know what I mean? They're fighting over things because one wants one thing, one wants the other, but they're all kind of determining on this one answer. But if both sides figure out exactly what they want, then it becomes much easier for us to play like, conflict resolution, being the one in the middle to understand what's actually happening. What did they understand and what did they understand, and what they see and what the other person sees are completely different. So when I was listening to this short, remember, it's only like a 50-second short, I was like, whoa, that's really deep. The way that this divorce lawyer was talking about it. And the reason why he's talking about this type of thing of negotiation is because he's dealing with it all the time with people who want to get divorced, that they have to negotiate with the assets they have, the money they have, and how to split it between the two people. So when I looked at this, I was like, oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense to me. It really, really does. So it was kind of like a mind-opening thing that I do think that we have to think about much more carefully. And sometimes what people are thinking is much different. And I think, this is one thing that I do think is very, very important, is a lot of times we are trying to get something, or we make these misunderstandings, but we just don't like what was the exact thing I was going to say? Because I was saying, like, this is one of the things that I do think is a very good part of, like, when you go into an argument or when you're fighting with someone, sometimes you guys are fighting over the same topic, but both of you have different definitions of what that is, right? Like, sometimes your definition of what this topic is compared to my definition, those definitions are much different. So, even when you look at a lot of the people that debate today, they debate by first making sure that both people know what their definition of this topic is, right? And when they, like, let's just say it's racism, right? I see that a lot on YouTube. People debate about racism, whatever it is. Sometimes you both need to go over your definition of what you guys think racism actually is, and then from there you're able to move forward much better. But even though we're using the same word, racism, right? We're using the exact same word, but because our definition of that word is different, we're going to be fighting and arguing over something that is completely different. You know what I mean? So I do think that's something that we do have to understand really well. But I thought this was an amazing and awesome point that this divorce lawyer was giving. And I hope it's something that will kind of open our hearts and our minds a little bit more too. All right, either way. So yeah, that's segment number 1 for today. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Of course, we have the Sunday Message Word Study next. Great message, short, right? But it was a great message, and we'll go over that after the first music break of the day. All right, so let's get into today's Sunday message word study. And great message, inspiring message with the title, I am with you, so keep your faith strong. Amen. One of my favorite verses is there too, Isaiah 43 verse 2. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze. Amazing, inspiring, and it's a verse that gives you a lot of strength also. Right, so I hope you guys really enjoyed it. It was a very short message. I didn't expect it to be this short. We were done within, I think, like 35 minutes or something along that line. But great message, great message. Anyways, I hope it's something that you guys will really be able to gain even more from. Right, so. This message is about God being with us no matter how difficult it becomes. We got to keep our faith strong. Don't lose yourself in the most difficult times, right? And I like the beginning point where the message is like, think about Jesus' time. There were people who were martyred. There were people who were whipped and beaten, extreme persecutions, imprisoned, stoned, right? And some were sawed in half or whatever it was, killed by the sword. And some of them had to, live without food, and they were famished. Some were, they couldn't even afford proper clothing. And some people had to run away, flee into the wilderness or the desert also. And then the message is like, but what about us today? We're nowhere close to being persecuted to that degree. Yes, we're suffering. Yes, we're going through tribulations, right? But it's nothing close to what it was 2,000 years ago. And this is why for us, we got to make our faith firm. We got to be strong. We have to carry out God's 1,000-year history. And I thought that was a great point to even just start out with, right? And of course, God has already promised us that during tribulations, if you can overcome that, right, there's even greater rewards making it through the tribulations, right? So don't be shaken. Don't worry about what the evildoers, the wicked, or Satan's, and all those people that try to come against us. Remain strong. Only then will God come and not leave. This is when God comes and God is going to be with us, right? And God's going to do exactly what He says, right? And even in those times where the messenger is saying, yeah, there's times that God doesn't answer. Just like in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus asked for God to take this cup away from me. God didn't answer. But even if He doesn't respond, if you remain unchanged as you promised and continue to do the work that God asked, then we are still those that commune and work with God, right? But I like this point is you are communing with God through the work you do. I thought that was awesome, right? Because sometimes going through the most difficult times, I'm going to be honest, as a man, sometimes the last thing you want to do is talk. You just want to put your head down and start working, just hammering away at what you need to be doing. And I think that's something that was very comforting for me. Hey, as long as you do as you promise, continue to do the work of God, right? Yeah, even though it's so difficult, all these are different things going on. Even if God doesn't answer you, you're still communing with God through the work, through the work that you're doing, through the work of God. And then it says you are taking action with God. So I thought that was really, really, for me, I was like, that's inspiring. That is inspiring. And we just need to know that through this message, God is saying He's always going to be with us because we're in this history, because we're the brides of this history. Don't give up. Don't give up no matter how difficult it gets, no matter how much tribulation comes. Don't go to your own thinking and think that God's not doing anything for you, right? And I thought this part was really good too, is when it said, God's watching us, especially during tribulations, right? Why? But why? Why would God watch us even more? Because He's going to be watching to see whether we focus only on praying and pleading with Him when facing a difficulty, whether our hearts change, or whether we realize and take action even more, right? And I think that's a big point is I think all of us would agree, and we've heard the cliche is you don't know your friends until the dark times come. And when it gets difficult, then you know who your true friends are. We've heard it many times before, right? And because we've heard of this, that's what we're like, okay, got it. That's what makes a lot more sense to me now, right? So I hope it's something that we can really grasp our heads around this too. And this another point that the message was making is sometimes God actually leaves the difficulty, pain, or tribulation in front of us, right? And he leaves it there so we can take his path of eternal blessing. It's interesting, right? Like sometimes we need it so we can take that path. Even when Satan harms us, God lets us discover the golden city through that harm. God is doing everything. He is watching us like watching a screen on our smartphones kind of thing, right? So guys, even if we face difficulty, don't lose heart, don't doubt, but focus what you've been doing already. Do it fervently, do it more faithfully, and by doing this, you will overcome the difficulty on your own. And that's why I think that's a great point is a lot of times we may be too reliant, meaning there are some things that we just need to do. But if we keep thinking that it's, oh, well, God didn't do this. Well, why isn't God help? No, there's a lot of difficulties we're able to overcome. Got to work harder, got to work stronger, right? So, while we're running in this history, there's going to be the times of winter. It's going to come. And we're all going to experience it when that time comes. It's a season, just like in every year, there's always a winter. That season is going to come no matter what, and we're going to go through it. God's history goes through it. Even in our personal lives, we're going to go through that too. It's a natural part of life. But when we hit such a season of winter, we still have to keep doing what needs to be done. Despite the cold weather, despite the difficulty. Like I would have to say, like a very, very miniaturized version is making ramen for all the newcomers and the people who brought the newcomers. It's freezing and it's cold. It's so cold. I had no socks on. I was wearing slippers and I was only wearing one like thin jacket. I was freezing out there, right? But you're going to make it only, you're going to just do your work only when things are good. Think about marriage. You're only going to be good in your marriage only when times are good. No, it's got to be at all times. That's what true marriage or true love is, right? So no matter what comes against you at any moment of your life, no matter what situation you're in, remember that God is always with us. God is always protecting us. So don't kind of go into your own thoughts like, oh, is God really protecting me? But instead, right, let's just keep taking action without end. The more difficult it is, the more we should call out and seek God. The more we should call out to the Holy Spirit and the Lord and take more action, right? We cannot entertain. I like this part of the message is stop entertaining self-destructive thoughts. And I'm going to tell you guys, I've been through these self-destructive thoughts of let's just quit. Forget this. I'm just going to go home. Forget this. Like, why am I even here? Oh, I should just, you know what? I should just live like everyone else in the world. You know what I mean? Like sometimes we have these destructive thoughts, right? So like I thought that was a very, very great point is these thoughts is what crushing a lot of people in this history right now. Another one that I was looking at is I thought this was really good was when Sunseem said, when you like become a person of mission, but be like a model figure, be a standard in the field that God has given you, right? Don't, become that person that the future generations can look at and then they want to imitate you. Kind of like the Pauls, right? We're like, oh, we want to be like that. We should live with that authority as God's people of this time period, doing so well to the point what happens. We do so well, right? We do so well that we're able to, we do so well that the future generations will look at us and say, oh, I want to be like that. Like that's where we should be. That's kind of the position we're in. We're in that first generation where even a lot of us look at the old generation for the people in the first half like, whoa, that is amazing what they did. I've heard so many stories. I'm just like, that's crazy kind of thing, right? So guys, in the end, it's all going to boil down to what do you do? Right? You are the determining factor of blessing and woes in your life. You're the one who provides the cause. Like, because of me, it happened like this. And God repays us according to what we have done. Right? I like this point here when he gave like 6 different points of why problems come. And he said, of course, some problems happen because of others. Of course, of course. But most problems happen is because of you. It's either you're ignorant, you made a mistake, you don't know or lack skills, you don't know what you should be doing, you don't believe in God and the Savior He sent, or because you act as you please. That's where all the problems come from. It's not all, most of the problems. Yes, some problems come from those on the outside. But think about it. Sometimes we're ignorant. Sometimes we make a mistake. Sometimes we lack the skill. Sometimes we don't know what to do. Sometimes we don't believe in God or the Savior. Sometimes we just live the life we want to live. And this is what's causing most of the problems, right? So, I hope it's something that we can gain and understand a lot about ourselves too. So let's, if we understand this point, then we should be taking action in a much different way, right? We take action in a much different way. So let's become those people that we take action, not just for God, but take action for yourself too, right? Don't think just only for God. You think these actions are for God and for you. Yeah, and this is where I think we can, with that type of attitude, we can do even better. And most of us, we're not going to know until we actually do it. And that's when you know that, oh, this is the right thing to do. So I hope that we will rejoice, believing and loving God, loving the Lord, loving the Holy Trinity, the Holy Spirit, right? And having that heart of heaven, no matter how difficult the situation is. And we'll take action and gain things in reality. And it's going to become a heaven of reality, right? So, this one point here I thought was perfect is if you compare heaven and earth, compared to heaven, this life on earth is like a day. But at a personal level, it is like a one-time use paper cup. And I use paper cups every day. So I'm sorry. This, that doesn't sound very good that I'm littering and doing this stuff. But think about it. I'll have a cup of coffee, throw it away after what? 10 minutes? It's done. So that's what our life here on this earth is compared to heaven. It's like a paper cup being thrown away. And, we have to be those that understand this very well. That this life here on this earth, although it's in the body and it's here today and gone tomorrow, that short amount of time determines so much in your life. It determines so much of it, right? And then something talks about like NASA and space and where life is only on Earth. And I thought there was this one analogy that was awesome. It's like if you took the universe and you miniaturized it, it would be the human body, right? So what's the human body like? Well, you have so many parts here and there, but the only place where life exists is the womb. That's it. And he says, in the universe, amongst all the celestial bodies and the stars and the planets and all this stuff going on, there's only one place, which is the womb, which is the earth. And people are going to try their best to search for more life out there. But sometimes like, you're never going to find it. It's the way God has created all things, right? I did like the one point where Sansi talked about his history of being baptized by the American missionary, which is kind of cool. The American missionary came over and he's the one that baptized, what's his name? William Linton. I believe he's from Georgia and sent to Korea. And he founded Hannam University in Daejeon, right? Which is quite amazing. And but I thought it was a miracle. How could this missionary go all the way deep into the countryside to baptize him, right? And there's no other way to say it, but it was God that sent him. And that'd be interesting to see what this guy's life was really like, right? This William Linton. I think that would be an interesting find to look at too. But great Sunday message. I really enjoyed it. Hope you guys really enjoyed it too. If you have any questions or anything else, you can put in the comments below. But love to hear your thoughts on this too. Either way. Okay, so there it is, guys. That is the end of today's Sunday Message Word Study. Yes, it was a very, very short message, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. We do have Provi in the media next, so let's get into that after the last music break of the day.
it though. He can show you where you wanna be. You gotta put in work that'll be unseen. Look, and it's just like that. Take it to the golden city just with a snap. You don't even gotta trip, no, we got your back. All you gotta do is sit back and relax. There's this love between you and I that is so strong. I don't wanna ever lose it, then I'll be alone. But if I leave his arms a wonder, I'll be sitting all alone just to ponder. Make up your mind and act as you should. I'ma show you we can be the greatest dude I ever stood. Living with the Lord every day is like my paradise. If you leave your worries and concerns to him, you'll be alright.
Really wanna live with happiness and hope. You gotta live with the one you love the most. And don't forget that even on darkest roads, just find the Lord and grab your heart. Control your deeds. A pretty paradise right from the start.
Paradise.
All the night brings darkness. You're like the sun, yeah, you always shine so bright. And I can't wait to see you, cause you are my only paradise. Together we're the greatest. Just like the moon and the stars, we light the night. And I can't wait to see you, cause you are my only paradise.
The weather's fine, the temperature's cool. 7 on earth, cause I'm with you. Ain't nothing better when we live forever. When we make us to be one true love. Birds of a feather flock together. And it's just like that. Give you my love, cause I don't hold back. Call me your love, cause I know you got stacks. This love is real, cause we got it like that. Sandy walks on the beach, summertime. Feel the heat, that's a love paradise. Holding hands, cool breeze, cloud 9. Make heaven together with you and I. Sandy walks on the beach, summertime. Feel the heat, that's a love paradise. Holding hands, cool breeze, cloud 9. Make heaven together with you and I.
Really wanna live with happiness and hope. You gotta live with the one you love the most. And don't forget that even on darkest roads, just find the Lord and grab your heart. Control your deeds. A pretty paradise right from the start.
Paradise.
All the night brings darkness. You're like the sun, yeah, you always shine so bright. And I can't wait to see you, cause you are my only paradise. Together we're the greatest. Just like the moon and the stars, we light the night. And I can't wait to see you, cause you are my only paradise.
He can take you where you wanna go. 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 He can show you what you wanna know. He can show you what you wanna know. I have realized I'm not alone, because living with you is like my paradise.
All the night brings darkness. You're like the sun, yeah, you always shine so bright. And I can't wait to see you, cause you are my only paradise. Together we're the greatest. Just like the moon and the stars, we light the night. And I can't wait to see you, cause you are my only paradise. All the night brings darkness. You're like the sun, yeah, you always shine so bright. And I can't wait to see you, cause you are my only paradise. Together we're the greatest. Just like the moon and the stars, we light the night. And I can't wait to see you, cause you are my only paradise.
All right, so let's get into our final segment for today, which is Provi in the media. There are actually there's no new news. I've been checking the internet to find more news about it, but we've already gotten all the details. The next trial actually is tomorrow. So please pray for Sunseem's trial. It is tomorrow on the 13th in Korea, which is going to be the evening of, I believe it's going to be the late evening on Monday night for those of you guys in the Western countries. But there's only going to be 2 trials for this month. Last week was a holiday, so they couldn't do it on the Tuesday. It's always been done on a Tuesday, so it'll be done on the 13th, and I believe one more on the 27th. So please pray for the situation to get done really, really well. All right. So yeah, it's very, very interesting and very cool that not cool, sorry, but I hope that we can really always be cued in, knowing that this is a situation going right now. I think I told you guys the number of people in the trial right now. I think it's at 8 right now, and there's possible 4 more coming in, possible. Right? But keep praying for it, because ultimately in the end, the thing that's going to matter to us for sure is what is God's will, right? And if you think about the time of Jesus, God's will eventually became, Jesus dying on the cross Jesus, and Jesus actually lost the trial over there too. However, it enabled for more salvation to be made, which in the same way for us too. This is why our biggest prayer is not going to be like, God, you must do it this way. God, he has to be set free. But the ultimate thing is, God, let your will be done. What is the ultimate thing that you want? What do you want to happen here? Let your will be done. And I think that's going to be the ultimate thing that we all have to be thinking about too. All right. So that's just kind of the small updates we have, and I hope that we can pray really well, especially during this 21-day prayer condition time too, especially before Alpha Day. Everyone have an amazing and awesome Monday, and we'll see you guys again tomorrow on the Morning Star Drive on 117.8.
It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly, so let's realign. Just listen and fill your mind.
I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop me when I'm like this. I got my head in the zone, I'm on the Morning Star Drive, I'm burning with desire and the passion.